All right, here we go. It's been kind of a long time coming. Anyway, welcome back or welcome to Bangs Audio Reviews. This is your host, Chris Bangs, and I am going to review for you the GIZAUDIO X Binary Acoustics Chopin. First of all, I'd like to start by saying that it's not Chopin or Chopin. It's Chopin. Now that I'm done sounding like a douchebag, let's get going. So this is a collab, if it's not obvious, between Timmy Ventkin of GIZAUDIO and Binary Acoustics. Binary Acoustics is not a well-known IEM company, although I guess they've been doing it for several years. I believe this is their first sort of global or worldwide kind of release. So my first experience with the company is this, and it's not my first collab, but it's my first GIZAUDIO collab. So I did a quick first impression video of this a couple of weeks ago. Now that I've had time to spend with it, I would have to say that first impression video is 100% accurate. These guys sound like a much more expensive IEM than they actually are, and we'll get into why, and do some A B C D comparisons, or at least I can tell you what my results were from those. First and foremost, since this is a critical review, I want to get a couple of things out of the way that I found to be maybe not problematic, but just sort of issues that came up with these as I was getting to know them. First, I didn't end up using the stock tips. I don't know if you could see these guys right here. There's sort of a soft silicone standard bore, and then a slightly wider bore, sort of tacky, kind of like the Sednafit X-Elastics, which are what are on the IEM right now. That's what I ended up going with. Let me say this: I did tip roll. I did everything. I did CP1 145s. I did the render ear tips from Z. I did Symphonium, which are like the render ear tips, and the silicone, foam hybrid. Do new SNS. Do new candies. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but I did them all. And what I landed on were the X-Elastics. As far as just sounding the best, feeling like the most transparent, feeling like allowing what these IEMs are capable of to show. And the simple fact is that they're about the same design and bore diameter as the ones that come with it. So it's not really a criticism. Actually, the stock tips are just fine. I just needed a reason to justify why I had the X-Elastics to begin with, because I had not found an IEM I could really use them with. I always liked other tips better, so thank you for allowing me to have a reason to actually have the X-Elastics. Sednafit X-Elastics are apparently very good. They're not cheap, and now I have an IEM I can use them with. Stock tips are fine, so that's not a criticism. That's just a really long-winded explanation as to how I ended up with the tips I did. Second would be the cable, which is beautiful and soft and pliable and supple and non-tangly and gorgeous and everything that I would want in an IEM cable in this price range. And the only thing is that the neck slider is really hard to move. That's all I could find. I mean, literally those two things, both of which aren't really even things, those are my only criticisms of these. Literally, that's it. I mean, and I started looking. I started going, they can't be this good. They just can't be this good. There's got to be something that they don't do well, or something they don't sound as good on. It's hilarious. congratulations. You guys can stop the video now. These get my highest recommendation, and we're done. To sort of, if you're still here, to sort of maybe reinforce that fact that these could probably easily pass for $500, $600, $700, $800 IEMs if that's what they were. I wouldn't have been disappointed in paying what I paid. Anyway, I did some AC, AD comparisons. The first one that was up was the Kiwi Ears Quintet, which is a 5-driver configuration. Not dissimilar, single dynamic 4 BAs on that. The Chopin is single dynamic 3 BAs. I think this is a DLC dynamic on the Quintet, and it's the cement dynamic on the Chopin. We're splitting hairs. It's kind of the same idea. It's just that the Chopin does it better. And this is the part where you're gonna go, okay, this is the snake oil, smoke and mirrors, totally subjective. I put these guys on the same song, the same volume, the same tips. I might have used the same tips, actually. And just listen to them back to 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 back. And the Chopin was, well, let's just put it this way, more enjoyable. It was more lively. It was more energetic. But at the same time, had all of the technical prowess, had all of the retrieval, had all of the resolution, had all of the separation and the layers and the positioning, of the instruments. I mean, it had all of that. All of those technical capabilities were equal to the Kiwi Ears. It just did it with more, I don't know, what do you want to call it, pizzazz? It did it with more life. It was just a little bit more engaging. Noticeably. So, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Chopin wins that battle. Chopin. Next up, I did my beloved Moondrop Katos. Heavy as shit. Single dynamic driver. Wasn't really a fair fight. The Katos, at 190, they're $30 less. They might even be less than that now because they've been out for a while. They punch well above their price too. I would have no issue whatsoever buying these again. I enjoy these. These are maybe my sentimental favorites of all the IEMs I own, because they were the first time that I really cruised past the $100 barrier. I had a couple others already that were maybe 130. Oh, that was the S12 Pro. Yeah, those were 135. So I had already experimented, but I wasn't sure I was going to get anything better by spending more. The Katos proved that wrong, because for a while, they were the best IEMs that I had. Then the Quintet came along, and now the Chopin obviously has beaten them soundly, I would say. Katos, again, they have the energy that I like. They just don't have the treble extension. They don't have the detail retrieval that the Chopin does. And that probably is simply because we're looking at a single dynamic and 3 VAs versus just a single dynamic. Like I said, not really a fair fight. But I still love the Katos. Still love them. Will always love them. And then, lastly, the most expensive pair of IEMs that I've purchased by $10, the GIZAUDIO Yume Ultras. I was really hyped to get these after I bought the Katos. I was like, this is going to be, wow, I can't believe this is going to be even better. How could that be possible? And they weren't. So the Yume Ultras probably won't get their own review. There's some days that I really like them. There's some days when I just can't freaking stand them. I think they're too upper mid centric for me. There's not enough sub bass. It kind of rolls off to balance that out. I could see people that really love female vocalists and maybe some like acoustic, you know, some classical like string, you know, quartet, quintet. Sorry. You know, some of that where that focus is really just on the upper mids. They are very natural and they are very smooth, but they just don't have the low end. So the Chopin basically kicked their ass for $10 less. These guys, unfortunately, I won't recommend. Unless you have a very specific use case that requires much mid, upper mid, and treble, then maybe these will suit you. They didn't suit me. So, how do they sound? Well, I think I kind of really got into that a little bit. They sound fantastic. They have sub-bass rumble. They have mid-bass punch and slam. They also have the extension down low too. They don't bleed into the mids. The mids are very correct. They're very, how am I going to put this? They're only slightly recessed, because if you recess it too far, then you lose the detail, right? But they are just, you know, in that way where the mids, they won't annoy you in any way, shape, or form. Low mids, upper mids, mid mids. They're just so well placed. And the tonality, the timbre, it's just so freaking natural that you can listen to them like non-stop. And then you get to the treble and you're like, oh God, this is going to be an ouch. It's going to be too much sizzle, too much heat. And it's not. It kind of flies really close to the sun without its wings starting to melt. Like, it gets up there, but it's still super smooth. It gets way up there to get those details, those micro details, like all of that you can hear, maybe you never heard in another song, or in the same song you've never heard something before. That's what these do. Case in point, Ancient Kingdom, Mastodon of Emperor of Sand. There's a guitar player, a track in there where the guitar is just playing harmonics, and I'd never heard that until I put these on. And it actually made the song even better. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. So yeah, they've got it. They've got the text, they've got the timbre, they've got the extension, they've got all of those buzzy words that I guess I could say we now, that we use to describe the different frequencies. Now, the frequency response on this as a whole, you know, it says on the box, I think it's like 8 or whatever to 20 or 40 or whatever. Listen, you're not going to miss anything on these. Not from top to bottom. Nothing's going to be like, oh, where'd that go? Or, oh, I heard this in this song before and I can't hear it now. Nope. It's going to give you everything, including the fact if you have a shitty recording, that's not going to make it sound better. But you'll know how shitty the recording is when you listen to these, because they're not going to mask over anything. They've got that transparency, while at the same time just having their own energy that they bring to the table. I don't know. I can't really say enough. I think I've said enough. I think I've said too much. Congratulations, Timmy. I'm really, really happy for you. You should be super proud of what you and Binary created. This should be in everybody's stable of IEMs. I mean, if you're able to spend the $220 on them, don't hesitate. Just do it. Just do it. Like, I'm not affiliated. I don't have any sponsors. Nothing. I'm gonna link Hi-Fi Go, Amazon, and Linsol. Whoever has this, I'm gonna link in the description, so you can just literally stop the video, hit the link, put them in your cart, or hit buy now, and they'll be to your door probably within a week or less if it's Amazon. Get them now. I don't know how many were on the first run, and if there's going to be a second run, I'm sure there is, but just buy them. Even if they're the only IEM that you're going to own, just buy them. That's all I got. Really, that's it. You could have skipped the entire like 10 minutes of middle stuff that I just did and started at the beginning and skipped to the end. These are great, buy them. These are great, buy them. These are great, buy them. Peace.